Today I'm going to be working on putting in the spray foam insulation. Highly recommend going with the spray foam insulation. It's a much higher R value than anything you're going to stick into the walls. Also has much better sound dampening. And one of the coolest things is it also adds structural rigidity to the whole van, which you can actually feel when you drive. It's a lot of prep work. You have to basically tape everything off that you don't want foam on it, or cover it with plastic. But once you prep everything, it's like 5 minutes to spray the whole van, so it's really easy. So right now I've got most of the floor covered up. I have to plastic off the front compartment here, and then every beam needs to be covered with blue tape on the face of it, everywhere you don't want foam. And then all of the outlets need to be covered, so I gotta cover that one and the rest of them. So once I get everything taped off, I'll come back and pick up with you from there. You may notice this plastic thing here and on that side too. You don't want to cover those with insulation. You definitely want to tape those off. It's like a vent air flap, so when you slam the door, it doesn't create like a vacuum. It releases some air so you can close the door easier. So definitely don't eliminate those. Also, all your wiring, it's nice if you get these plastic clips with the zip ties. Keep everything tight up against the wall, because the insulation is going to expand, and you don't want your wires moving around. So try and tape everything off, all the studs, everywhere you don't want the insulation to be. Okay, so this is what it should look like when you're all taped off. Time for the fun part. So I'm just leaving these in the bathtub for, I don't know, 20-30 minutes or so, just to get the temperatures up to 75 degrees. The water is just maybe 95 degrees or so. I'm not making it really, really hot, just a bearable temperature. I don't want these things to explode or anything. I just want to slowly warm them up to 75 degrees, about somewhere around there. So this is what comes in the kit, and I'll have a link for this down below. You get the one gun, the hose, and a bunch of tips. The blue ones are for a fan spray, and the clear ones are for a cone spray. And you are going to need a bunch of these. I think it has about 10 of them or so. If you even stop for a few seconds, it gets clogged up and you have to use a new tip. So if you've never done this before, you might want to even buy a few extra tips. But this is usually good for me. Once you've done this a few times, you can kind of just get everything prepped out and spray everything all at once and not have to stop too much, because as soon as you stop, that's when things get clogged. So you want to do all your prep work ahead of time and just be ready to do the whole thing all at once. Okay, so I've connected the hoses to the tanks with the wrench that's provided in the kit. And then I'm going to put some of this petroleum jelly on the nozzle and then spray it into here just until the stream of both hoses is coming out equally. But before I do that, I'm gonna put my coronavirus suit on. Okay, how do I look? That went really well. Didn't even use the whole tank. So now I'll just wait for it to dry. It expands quite a bit when you're putting it on. And then once it dries, I'm gonna take the belt sander and just go over all the high spots. But you wanna do all the more important spots first, the big areas. And then once you're done with that, you can fill in all the little holes that are in the metal beams. Really happy with the way it came out. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and next step I'll probably be putting up the ceiling, and then after that the walls.